Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Continuing on with NFL Week 4. Bengals at Titans here. Nice AFC battle. Titans getting 2.5 points at home. Total sitting at 41.5. Let's go.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Source. Hey, get the Source.
So this line's sitting at 2.5, and it's pretty much been at 2.5 all week. I did see it touch 3 briefly a couple times, but for the most part, it's been sitting at 2.5. Early action was definitely in on Cincinnati, but throughout this week, a lot of the sharps have been hitting the Titans, and we got a serious pros versus public setup here. The public's definitely on the Bengals, sharp action definitely on the Titans. So let's take a look at this one. Every single NFL game is huge. It's such a short season, but this one is especially crucial for both sides. You got both these teams sitting at 1 and 2, falling to 1 and 3. You start to see your playoff chances severely decrease. So let's start with Cincinnati, and congrats to the Bengals for grabbing their first win last week. But we can't ignore that we're now talking about 3 straight pitiful performances from Joe Burrow. Even in the win, he was just 26 of 49, 259 yards and a pick, 5.3 yards per attempt on 53% completions. That's a bad game. Through 33 offensive drives on the season, the Bengals offense has produced just 3 touchdowns, tied for the fewest in the NFL with the New York Jets. They're also dead last in the NFL, averaging just 4.0 yards per play. The Bengals offense is averaging less yards per play than both the Bears and the Jets. DVOA-wise, Cincinnati's offense is sitting at 25th overall, 26th in passing, and 15th in rushing. Things are looking bad for this offense. And the weird part is Joe Burrow's been the worst part of that offense. Amongst the 34 qualified quarterback, Joe Burrow's 33rd in yards per attempt, tied for 30th in average depth of target, and 23rd in big-time throw percentage. We're seeing almost the exact opposite from Joe Burrow this year than we've seen the last couple years. Joe Burrow normally is a big play machine. Joe Burrow in 21 and 22 was completing over 50% of his passes that travel 15 plus yards. This year, he's just 2 of 20 on those attempts, and his missed throw percentage on these throws is way up. Now, you would think the Titans defense would be a perfect spot for Joe Burrow to bounce back. Titans pass defense is definitely brutal. That's not a good secondary out there. They're 26th in pass defense DVOA, 29th in yards per attempt allowed, and 28th in opponent's passer rating. But one thing this Titans defense can definitely do is pressure the passer. Titans are 10th in adjusted sack rate, 7th in hurry percentage, 12th in pressure rate, and Joe Burrow's been terrible under pressure this year. Joe Burrow's dead last in yards per attempt when pressured at 2.0. 2 yards per attempt when pressured. He's also dead last in completion percentage when pressured, 26.9% completions. A good pass rush like the Titans is literally the last thing Joe Burrow needs to see right now when he's trying to get right. And I mentioned that the Titans secondary is definitely beatable, but it's specifically weak against the deep pass. Last year, the Titans were dead last in defensive DVOA against the deep pass. They were actually pretty decent against the short pass. They were 14th. We just got done reading off numbers on how inaccurate Joe Burrow's been throwing the ball deeper than 15 yards. This may be a nightmare matchup for the Bengals. And up to this point in the season, the only part of the Cincinnati offense that's been somewhat decent has been Joe Mixon in the run game, which hasn't even been that good, by the way, but it's been better than the passing attack. In case you forgot, Titans have arguably the best run defense in the NFL. They're 3rd in run defense DVOA, 4th in adjusted line yards, and 1st in yards per carry allowed. Based on what we've seen so far this year, the Bengals offense shouldn't even hit double-digit points in this game. Now, will the 2022 Bengals offense miraculously show up? Maybe. But if we're going by this year and this year alone, it should be a real struggle for the Cincinnati offense. Don't worry though, Bengals. Things are about to get a little better because we're about to talk about Ryan Tannehill. Good Lord, was he a disaster last week. 13 of 25, 104 yards through the air, just 52% completions, 4.2 yards per attempt is terrible, and a 62.8 passer rating. We may have to give Tannehill a little bit of a pass here, though. That was against Cleveland, and the Browns are making a strong case of being the best defense in the NFL right now. Browns are 1st in defensive DVOA and 1st in pass defense DVOA. That pass rush is just nuts. We saw Tannehill play the Chargers the week before that. The Chargers obviously are a bad pass defense, or so far they are at least, and Tannehill was good. He completed 83% of his passes, 10.3 yards per attempt. So I don't know if we could just close the book on Tannehill because he didn't produce on the road at New Orleans and on the road at Cleveland, 2 really good defenses. His lone home game against a bad defense, he was actually really good. And here he is back home again against the Bengals pass defense that really isn't anything special. special. Deshaun Watson had a terrible game against Cincinnati in week 1. And even with those numbers included, the Bengals pass defense is still just 16th in DVOA, 16th in yards per attempt, 24th in yards per completion allowed. The bright spot of the Bengals defense is the pass rush for sure. Bengals are 8th in adjusted sack rate, 11th in pressure rate, and Lou Anarumo loves to turn up the heat. Bengals defense is 3rd in the NFL in blitz rate, so they're going to be coming after Tannehill heavy in this game. And the Titans' pass protection has not been good. It's been bad. They're 31st in adjusted sack rate, 23rd in pressure rate. Titans will also be missing their first-round pick starting guard Peter Skoronski for the second straight game. He didn't play last week against Cleveland either. So Tannehill's probably screwed here, right? Well, actually, check this out. You might be surprised to hear this, but Ryan Tannehill is actually a beast against the blitz. Last year, when blitzed, Ryan Tannehill had a passer rating of 114.2, 3rd best in the NFL. He averaged 9.5 yards per pass attempt, 2nd best in the NFL, and he had a 0% turnover-worthy throw rate, 1st in the NFL. Ryan Tannehill was a top 2, top 3 quarterback in the NFL last year against the blitz, and now he's got DeAndre Hopkins this year. Let's not forget that the Titans also have Derrick Henry, and while the Bengals pass rush may be dangerous, the run defense is definitely a weak spot. Cincinnati run defense on the year, 25th in adjusted line yards, 28th in DVOA, and 24th in yards per carry allowed to running backs. Now, the Tennessee run game has not been good to start the season, 24th, 21st, and 24th in the 3 major categories. Derrick Henry definitely not running the ball like he used to, at least not yet, but at home against this Bengals defense might be the perfect spot for Derrick Henry to put up his first big game of the year. Now, before we get to the bet, I actually got an underdog pick 'em for this game. It's a 3 pick, so it pays out 6 times. I'm going to use the free leg, obviously. Patrick Mahomes over a half pass yard. That's the free one. The 2 I'm adding, I'm going to roll with Ryan Tannehill higher than 196.5 pass yards and Derrick Henry higher than 68.5 rush yards. Like I said, a 3 pick, so it pays out 6 times. If you don't have an underdog fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted in orange on this map. So if you're in one of these states, head over to Underdog Fantasy, the website, or download the app. When you make your account, make sure you use the promo code BET. BET. That'll get you a $100 deposit bonus. And actually, if you sign up before October 4th, they will give you up to a $500 deposit match. So if you deposit $500 with the promo code BET, they will give you a free $500 to play with. That only is up till October 4th, though. As far as betting this game, I'm sure you figured it out by my notes. I'm on Tennessee here, definitely on the Titans. I'm going to take the 2.5. Might end up betting the money line as well. I'll let you know on the live show Sunday morning at 11 a.m. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, if you want to join the Discord, or if you want to get in on the NFL Against the Spread giveaway contest, I give away something every week. Head over to KyleKirms.com. Information's right there on the homepage. NFL Week 4, Football Sunday is here. Let's have ourselves a good one. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.